Final thoughts from our panel. If you believe it or not, we've been talking for quite a while here, so we've given a lot of content, but I want to make sure we get the things that you want to make sure are included.
One thing I really want to stress that I hear over and over and over again, whether it's graduation or prom or whatever it is, your kid is not safe just because he's getting high in your house. Many times, you know, graduation parties, they all go to some parent's house and they have alcohol and they take their keys and do every kind of precautionary, but they are giving them permission to start in on a track of celebration that has to do with drugs or alcohol. Many parents think, you know, if my kid's going to smoke weed, he might as well just do it here. I don't want him out on the street. I don't want him to get caught. And it goes back to that isn't what a parent's supposed to do. It's supposed to keep them safe. And a child walking out of the house and saying, you know, my mom and dad smoke pot, and, you know, I've been smoking pot with them since I was 14 or 15. We don't think there's anything wrong with it, except that they're aiding to the delinquency of a minor. You can't give permission to children to not mature. Once you pick up a drug, you emotionally stop growing. So you could have somebody start smoking pot at 13 years old and they finally get clean at 40. I got to tell you something, you're dealing with a 13-year-old.
Anything else from anybody?
Steve?
Jill.
So many times we talk to parents, tragic stories who have lost their children to drugs or alcohol, and they say all the time, if only I had done something that first time when I knew they were smoking pot, if I'd only just picked the phone up. So I would encourage any parent listening to this show to pick the phone up, and whether it's their physician, whether it's calling the local regional action council, which is a very well organized system in the state of Connecticut, calling the Governor's Prevention Partnership, we'll make sure that they get hooked up with the type of help that they need. But don't be afraid to make that phone call. It's very important.
And just a little plug for our own content, that we did some research and we boiled down 2 burning questions that parents had. I think my kid is using, or I know my kid is using. We created a resource on the web. You can find it through the Governor's Prevention Partnership, but it's called Time to Act, drugfree.org/time to act, which really takes you through what you need to do. And you're exactly right. There are resources out there that can really help. Final thoughts, Dr. Rogers? We'll go down the line here.
One word, that's vigilance.
Vigilance.
So we're vigilant when our child starts to crawl and make sure the house is safe. As they develop, we make sure the playgrounds that they play on are safe, that the schools are safe. But for some reason, as they develop into adolescence, we feel like they're miniature adults, and we lose some of that vigilance. And I see it all the time in the emergency department. You know, with children or adolescents coming in intoxicated or after an overdose, and you can see the distance. You can see the parents saying, "What happened to my little girl? You know, she was just a little girl yesterday. What happened?" And I think they lose that vigilance. They start to forget that they need to protect their environment. They need to be involved in their lives, and I think they forget how enjoyable that can be as well. Really being there and being involved in your child's life is what we all had children for.
We're gonna have some information on the screen. It should be coming up as the show wraps up. I invite everybody to stay tuned. There are things that you can do, and Jill touched on that. If you need information, there is a phone number you can call in Connecticut. It is 860-523-8042. Reach out and get the information. Don't sit at home. If you need something, if we haven't answered your question, do that. If you want to go on the web and you like the privacy of that, on the web, preventionworksct.org. preventionworksct.org. There's an extension, rxinfo/rxinfo if you want it. There's a lot of information out there. You can get information from A&E on the intervention site. You can get it from the partnership at drugfree.org. What we know and where we began is kids who learn a lot about drug use at home, half as likely to use. So parents, communities, if we all take action, if we're honest and open and support our friends, we can do something about this issue. Thanks a lot, everyone.